I am the king of overthinking. If it's a big item that needs a decision, I'm your guy. I was joking with my father in law the other day that if they ever give me power of attorney and it was time to quote unquote pull the plug, let me make the decision. I'm the one that can pull the trigger and get it done. Now, if afterward they ask me what color coffin to put them in, we're in trouble. I struggle with the little decisions and always overthink them. Big stuff, great. Little stuff, not so much. Case in point, gosh, I bet it was 19 years ago. Uh, Me and the wife, no kids, first house, and she had to go run errands for the day. Target, post office, whatever women do when they take off and leave you for a day. I was at home. This is like pre phone, pre kids, pre everything. Couldn't figure out what to do with myself. And at the moment, I had this big idea. I was going to retire by the age of 50. Pretty good goal, right? I couldn't figure out quite how to do it. So I sat down at my Dell desktop. You know, remember desktop computers with the monitor that's yay big? And I created a spreadsheet. How am I going to get there? So if I want to retire by 50, I need this much income. Worked my way backwards all the way into it. And the only thing I could think of at the time was, well, we could do rentals. And if I did that right now, we make X number of dollars and we could pay more down on the house. And then once we get this one paid for, we could use that mortgage and a down payment to buy a small rental. And after we got income from it, we could buy a second and a third. It was really kind of a big, lofty thing. And it was just, it was just on a spreadsheet. But I came across it not long ago and it made me a little sad because, quite frankly, it could have happened. I mean, I spelled it all out correctly and it would have worked. But when it came time, after we started having kids and, we'd made a few extra mortgage payments, I started overthinking it. Well, maybe we shouldn't. Well, maybe we should do X, Y, Z. Well, maybe we need to put that money here instead. Had I just followed through, I'm 47, in 3 years, I'm probably, hanging out. I'm not making, a LinkedIn live like this. I'm retired. So when it comes to overthinking, it's not just in our personal lives, it's in our, small business life. It's something that affects me now. I love to make goals, king of making goals too, and I scribble little notes everywhere on exactly how I'm going to reach it and what I'm going to do when I get there. And I'll restart over and over because when it's time to start going through the checklist of all the tasks I'm supposed to do, I'll start overthinking. Even to do something like today, do I put the banner across the bottom here? What time do I start? So I see it all the time. For example, I had last year a startup business wanted to open up a small coffee shop in a rural town that didn't have one. The business plan was all laid out. They were hot and ready to get going with it, and then they came time to do the logo. The logo for a coffee shop didn't really matter. They got hung up on overthinking what should be in the logo and never got past it. Therefore, the coffee shop today doesn't exist. For existing businesses, I see this all of the time, whether you're getting ready to outsource a task and you don't know which one or how to document it or start a new marketing project. Had a locksmith years ago that needed to update the website. Their version looked like Netscape 1.0. Not good. Blue background, just plain lettering, almost looked like a sad Word document. Couldn't quite get Knew they needed to update it, but kept overthinking what should be on each page and who should do it and what needs to be on there. And for a locksmith, a website's pretty doggone important because when somebody gets locked out of their house or car, they'll go to Google, click on a couple of things, and boom, they've made a decision. They've got to get the locksmith there right away. Their website never updated. Greatly affects that business. So what do you do instead? Create goals, create short-term goals, but start following more processes that you've put into place versus just the goal and then trying to figure out later how to overthink your way to reaching that goal. And consistency matters more than anything else when it comes to overthinking. Just continuing to do it without feeling like you got to be motivated or you got to look at every aspect of it. Uh, Three things. First and foremost, pick a worthwhile goal. For me, I've got a book coming out and I want to start a podcast. I've already overthought, what the name of it's going to be, the artwork, all the unimportant stuff. The idea that I'm going to do it though exists. I've started getting guests together. I've got my dates laid out. I've got my topics laid out. That will happen. But I tend to overthink all of the other things. So I've got to pick 2 or 3 tasks and just plow through them. And at some point, just let the name of it be whatever it is, let the artwork be whatever it is. That's the second thing. Pick a short term, worthwhile goal. Second, pick 2 or 3 tasks that you know you can do in order to reach it. And then lastly, be patient and be willing to be very uncomfortable. That's the biggest issue that we all face because we think everybody else is looking at us and watching us. You know who else is looking at us and watching us? Very few folks. And I know we say that in our household. Your children are always watching you. God's watching you and Santa's watching you. I believe. I know God and the kids are, but everybody else isn't paying that much attention to you. We are paying too much attention to us and thinking that everyone else is thinking about us, but nobody else is thinking about us. They're thinking about themselves. I think it's Dale Carnegie says people think about themselves morning, noon, and at dinner. In this particular case, had I not overthought where I was 20 years ago with my rental spreadsheet, this this wouldn't even exist today. Stop overthinking and start doing.